Hello everyone. Today I'm the host. This is SlayerHeX. I have with me TDS right over there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So we start in a bit of a, mood dampener, which is sadly Miles will not be in this episode because he sadly has contracted the Corona Chan. Yes, that stupid virus. Yes, it still exists. So
Yep.
he's kind of sick. We hope he gets better. Will He will be back next week, hopefully, and then we'll have the trio back again. Because last week it was TDS that was missing
Yeah.
for a bit, and then Miles, and then I hope it's not me next. Like, okay, fingers crossed. So yeah,
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't jump from one
so
to other.
so TDS, how was the week?
It was interesting, to say the least. A lot of things happened.
Oh
To
yeah,
to
a lot of
not
things
lie,
did.
like I'm happy with what we saw. Not
Yeah.
because we lost, not because it ended up being really random with what happened in the results, but I think we saw a lot of competitiveness in the leagues, which maybe we didn't expect starting it. So quite a good start in my opinion in
I
terms of
mean,
competitiveness.
I wouldn't go as far, right? I wouldn't go as far because
Like the teams, some teams that we expected to win won, but some that we didn't expect at all won as well. So I
okay,
think that
that I
making
agree
so
with.
that the top side is not as good and the bottom side is not as bad, right?
Yeah, that I agree with, right? That I completely
I
agree
think,
with. That the fact
yeah.
that we have seen some teams basically say, okay, this is where we are. We are better than what people say we are, and that's that, right? That's that.
Yeah,
And then there's
that's pretty much
teams
it.
that are supposed to be good, and they're just kind
Yeah,
of tanking right now. For a lack of a better word,
kind of.
they're tanking.
For a lack of a worst word, I pretty much, yeah, tanking. I feel like it's the best way of not go even farther, because some teams, I have three teams that in my opinion are like their first week was so bad that
Yes.
a kick in the nuts would probably be better for them.
I
That's
mean,
how I feel.
I mean, it starts with V. Starts with V. Okay. Enough of that. Enough of that. Right. So, let's start TDS. So, what jumped out to you? Right. What jumped out? Like,
Well,
what was the one
for
thing that
starters,
you really saw that okay? You're like, yikes! I didn't expect this to go like this.
yeah, for the starters, for me, the first thing that jumped into mind is Rai is not that bad. And I hate that, but Ra is not that bad actually in the LPL.
Ah, the RA. Yes,
Yeah,
actually, no one actually, in my opinion, like for
I had
me
him
at
bottom
least.
three.
So basically, when I made my tier list before the split started, right?
Yeah,
When I was doing my articles, I I basically put RA in the bottom tier, which is basically the last tier, and
yeah,
that had LGD and TT. Well, guess what? Two of them are still at the bottom. Two of them are still at the bottom.
yep, yep.
The other one is nowhere near
It's
bottom
no, and
because
that's the thing.
because I'll
Like
tell you
that's the
this.
surprising.
I did my power rankings today, for week two, right? RA on my list is fifth.
Okay,
They
damn,
went
that
from
is
15th to fifth.
to fifth. Yeah,
Yeah,
but that's the thing, and I can
no,
agree with
no,
that. I
yeah.
I think that the change, or not the change, but this isn't anything near close to what I expected from RA. Like not even
Hell
close
no.
to what I think was going to happen with RA. And already starting really well in the week. They have a one-on-one in the series overall, but it's still a really nice outcome for them. And I feel like if they can keep this up, they can be contenders for playoffs if they can keep this up.
If they can keep it up, are you sure they
Yeah,
won't?
it's if.
Are you sure they won't? They, they, okay, let's put it this way, okay? I want to be as nice as possible. They shellacked TS. They
As
shellacked
nice
them.
as possible.
It was shellacked.
Yeah, it
They
was
completely
not
shellacked
pretty.
them, and at one point, it was starting to get a bit dicey for LNG.
Yeah, I honestly thought they would be able to pull it off against LNG. I actually thought at the end they are going to upset LNG. This is going to be the big, like I thought RA winning against this was already probably the biggest upset. I feel like that's pretty much it because
Yeah,
we knew FPX had the chance of going against RNG. We
yeah.
knew that some other teams could probably pull it up. Even UP was doable against LNG as
Oh
well.
yeah,
Yeah, against LNG. But RA winning against a team that we expect to be in the top six, not even top 10, top six,
yeah.
it was surprising. And a
I mean, they were
2-0
not even top
nonetheless.
10
So,
at least. For most of us, it
yeah.
was only top 10. We're talking about top 6. This team just came out
Yeah,
and said,
so,
yeah, yeah, everyone's counted us out. Uh, well, boo hoo. Am I
yeah.
right?
And I was I was like that when Tess lost. I was almost ready to give up. So, so completely deserved. And I feel like they played really well around bot lane. So
Yeah,
making full use out of the the right now potential of the meta. And I think they are doing a really nice job playing around iBoy, which sometimes iBoy is this guy is an interesting player. When you least expect out of him, he
yes.
comes out, and when you expect most, he kind of chokes.
Okay,
So it's going to
yeah.
be interesting now when expectations can be put around iBoy if he's going to be able to perform or not.
I mean, I think what jumps out to me regarding RA, like staying on topic, it's drive. That dude is
Okay.
mental. Like, mental in the sense that that dude is so good. Like,
Yeah.
so good. Like, he's a rookie.
And he
Eh,
was filling in for the best player in RA.
yeah, and basically now everyone's gonna have that video montage of uh, strive on Corky. Everyone's running away from him. All of a sudden he flashes. He flash rockets and then autos. Rocket
Ah,
kills
that's pretty
two.
cool.
Auto kills one. I
Yeah,
mean,
I love that. I love Corky now with that. It's so beautiful to watch people getting bursted out. But yeah, he's performing really well with in a team like this, and if he can keep it up, and none of it wasn't against anyone. Also, his first game, it was against Knight, so even better overall.
yes, it was against Knight, and then he was actually playing really well against Doinb too. So
Yeah,
it's like, so RA is in a situation where
actually, yeah.
the team's playing really well. I'm now concerned whether Junja gets a game because Leanne's playing really well too. All of a sudden, and I don't think unless and until Leanne, kind of takes a dip. Like I don't think Junja gets a game.
Which may happen.
I mean, knowing Leanne, it kind of doesn't.
Yeah.
He goes through
Yeah, that's the thing.
phases.
So, but that's good. I feel like if your backup is a jungler as good as Lian as Junja, I feel like at least even if Lian takes a dip, I think RA has a good backup to keep up with the team, to keep up the team. Because if not, if it was someone else, maybe you would be much more worried. Because if Lian, which doesn't keep
Yeah.
up performances so consistently, does take a dip, it would affect. But I think Junja will be good enough to come up when the situation is needed, when or if he is needed, right?
I mean, yeah, that's the thing because I believe like after probably this year, right? Or next year, we will see Junja be the starter. Like
Okay.
Leanne's probably playing for the rest of his career at this point because I feel when they brought Junja, they had it in mind that we have Strive, he's gonna develop. We have like iBoy's our team franchise player, right? We brought in Zora. Zora's going to play well. We still have Leanne. He's gonna be the veteran on this team, and then they have Cube. Now I will say the most underrated player on RA has been Cube.
That is true. I think Cube
This
withstood
one
quite
week,
well against some of
Cube.
the better top laners.
I mean, Cube literally stood tall against each and every one of their
Zoom
matchups.
and LA. Yeah.
I mean, the thing with Ale is I didn't like how he played week one. Like I just didn't. It's not like they weren't
Okay.
giving him resources. It just they were giving him resources, but he wasn't finding the advantages. I remember he was playing Jax, right? Was he
I
playing
think it
Jax?
was against when I think it was Jax.
I think it was versus
I think he got a
RA.
yeah.
He
I
did
think he
play
got one.
Jax.
Yeah, I think he got one at least.
Yeah, and then he didn't do very well with the Jax. Like he didn't get his advantage, and then on the reverse matchup the next game, Q started trying to get some advantages as well. It's like it's it, that's what's I don't know if I'm mistaking it, but basically I but based on what I've seen from LNG, I feel like their bot lane is not really playing as well as you expect them to,
Nope,
right?
in the
Like
least.
I mean everyone's questioning why Lumao's in the team at this point.
Yeah.
Like I understand the logic behind it. I understand why LNG would go for it because Lumao is more of a roaming support than Iwandi is. That's not to say Iwandi is not a good support, right?
Yeah.
But that's that. And then Light's just a consistent ADC, but that's that. So I mean, we're coming to a situation where it has to be Tarzan or Doinby just taking the reins, or Ale has to pop off.
Yeah, it has to be on those three, which they did on their next series. I feel like the Toynbee and Tarzan make much more of power out there, or not in the next, in the previous series against UP. I think that
Yes.
we really saw that.
Yeah.
But when they were tested, when it wasn't just uncontested in those
Yes.
areas, even though the bot was destroyed,
Yes.
like it was really hard for them to be able to pull off something. And Light and Iwandi struggled against both bot lanes in the UP and in the RA game,
Yeah.
but the difference was the mid lane wasn't that contested in the UP game, obviously, and Doinby and Tarzan had way more leeway to move around and have impact in the map. Meanwhile,
Okay.
on the RA game, they didn't have that much of the leeway to be able to pull out that off. So the fact that Ali appeared a little bit helped them to be able to turn it around, because if not, I think that Ari could have taken that game. Like
Yeah.
they were really preoccupied in that series.
Okay. For me at least, based on the LPL, what really jumped out was was not really something positive. It was not really team based. It was really meta based. Because when I saw
Okay.
that, like they were always picking Corky or Victor,
Yeah.
or they were always picking Jinx or Philios.
Yeah.
Like one of the like from these two, one of the other was always there. And if it's Corky or Victor, right?
Yeah.
And I
I feel in the AD carry, in the AD carry at least, just to add to that, most of the time if they are picked is because scaling is banned, which most of the time it's banned, right?
well,
As well.
I mean that's understandable because not only does it scale,
Yeah.
it's also dominant in lane. I mean,
I mean, like to add to the 280 carries, scaling as well is always banned. So it's like there's that trifecta 100%
yeah,
of the time with the 80 carries.
yeah. And then obviously there's supports like we're seeing Yumi's, uh, Lulu's, Enchanter supports, right?
Yeah.
But then now there's the ping ponging between Enchanter supports and Engage supports because now all of a sudden everyone's start going back to Nautilus, Thresh, and Leona because well they're still pretty strong guys. It's not just the Yumis,
Yeah.
and it's not
like
like like the Yumi pick has been mostly for scaling because now teams have realized that in this current patch you can actually scale quite well.
yeah.
Like you can actually wait it out for a bit and you can actually play the fights late.
Yeah. So with that actually brings me to a point that with the potential scaling, because there's one thing that I also noticed, and it's the that sometimes, or at least some of the times, some teams are willing to give up the soul without fighting for it.
Yes.
because it just doesn't even feel like the soul is that not that good, but it just doesn't feel like it has the same power as it had in the
Uh,
previous seasons. So teams are more willing to give it up and fight against it, and most of the time it can end up working as well.
so the pushback only to this is that it's not all of the teams that are doing it. It's
Yeah,
mostly teams that are like when teams realize they have no position to fight for it, they're giving it up.
they don't. Yeah,
But uh and I think except for probably Chemtech Soul, I think the rest of the souls you can actually play against and you can
I think
actually
even
win
Chemtech to a
against
certain degree.
and you can
I
win
think even
against.
Chemtech to a certain degree.
I
Like
mean,
yeah, but-
Chemtech is really hard to play against. Like I'll get to Chemtech in a sec because when I touch on this
yeah.
team, there's a particular
I
team I
feel
want to
like
touch on. That will pretty much like cement my position on where I land on Chemtech. But
okay. I feel like at least we could make it so that if we were to evaluate the whole souls, I would say that putting Chemtech as first it's the most obvious one because of the power that it has.
yeah,
So in terms of fighting against the souls, Chemtech would be the hardest, and then you kind of go downwards into which are the other hardest, be it Mountain or Inferno, which I think are still pretty much
I
in the top three.
yeah.
I would take those in the top three with maybe Hextech running in, and then obviously the
Ocean and
cloud is
Cloud.
still kind of the lowest. I think Ocean lost a lot of its flavor as well. Like I think previously it was way more powerful, and
Yeah,
right now I just don't feel like there's that much power because you already had a lot of innate healing, but there's also now a lot of penetration as well as
a lot of
potential
burst.
heal cut that you have. Yeah, a lot of burst even. So it's not like like getting that extra heal. It's not that great. I think we saw in one of the games this week one of the teams having the soul, and the healing was really negligible when
Yeah,
you think about it. I think it was the SK Mad game.
yeah,
So it just feels like it's no longer that powerful, and the teams that can fight, or at least the teams that seem to have better coordination and better understanding of how to play around their advantages, seems to don't care that much about
yeah,
that soul. Even if they give it up,
yeah.
they know how to play around them, and they have shown that. So it's like you're saying, it's more like if they don't have position to fight it, they are not going to force it.
Okay,
Something that in the previous season, if there was a soul, there was a fight. Like that was a given.
okay,
So I think it's an interesting change and an
yeah,
interesting dynamic that we haven't seen yet with the Souls
yeah.
since I think they've been at it.
Yeah. So let's now go to a more deeper dive. Let's talk about the week in general for all the leagues, right? Let's start with the LPL.
Yeah,
So basically the LPL we so thus far LPL has had 1 week, right? 1 week of games. Uh, Great.
every day.
OMG is at the top because OMG is 3-0. They played 3 games. Now, I'll put a caveat there. The 3 games they played against, not very good opponents.
Yeah,
Like,
I'd say one of the three were really good, or not really good, but at least a test. One of the three are a test.
I mean,
The other two are
one of the,
more.
I mean, it was TT, AL, and IG. I'm sorry, none of them
Yeah,
were
I
tests.
think at least IG. I would give IG the benefit of the doubt because I
I
think
mean, they
IG is
kind of
not.
stomped
It's
IG
a
today if you didn't watch
potential.
the game.
Yeah, that is true.
They
Like
completely
it
blew
wasn't
them
that
out of the
close.
water.
I think at least IG, it's a better team
Yeah.
than AL and
Yeah,
TT.
just to briefly talk about OMG, I think what is impressing me about OMG is actually Shanji. Like
Yeah,
this new top laner is solid. Like and he's coming in with plays that he needs to. Like we're seeing a lot of great Gragas plays. Shanji is one of them. Like
yeah,
and he's actually not only just Gragas, he's actually playing well on other champions, and he's gotten a few player of the games as well. So it's like Shanji is actually doing so well with the team, like coordinating with the team, coming into team fights, starting it off, setting it up. Like he's doing several stuff, and I feel like the addition has been very good so far.
yeah. I think that the change that they make from new to Shanji certainly it was one of the better ones. Like not nothing against new, but New wasn't really that stellar when you think about it on OMG last year, and I think it was one of the places that you could clearly upgrade on the side of. Sorry for that.
It's fine. Go on.
It's one of the teams. It's one of the places that you could have upgraded certainly from the side of OMG, and it helped a lot. Like we can clearly see the impact that Shandy has had onto the team, the amount of pressure that he has been able to put on his side, and we still have yet to see him against the better top laners, obviously. But I feel like this is a really good way to start and at least gain confidence going against those great top laners.
Yeah. So that's OMG. Let's switch to EDG. In my opinion, still the best team
Yeah,
in the LPL
yeah,
until
man.
anyone beats them. Like that's the threshold
Like, do
until
we have to
anyone
say
be.
anything?
I mean, we don't. Like, I think the only thing I want to say is the first series, Flandre played any top and still like he did, of course he didn't win lane. He was against Jace. But the thing is,
Yeah,
after the laning phase was over, he was everywhere. That's
yeah. He pretty much
like
played
and he
roaming
won the
support
game.
top.
Like he got away with it, and I'm like that just shows how good EDG is. Like
Now, it was also against JDG, but yeah, it just
I
shows
mean,
that
listen,
EG are so good.
JDG is not a bottom three team in my opinion. Still,
That is true. But they are close. But they
they're
are.
close.
I think
They're
they are close to
close,
that.
but they're
Yeah,
not
from what
bottom
we've seen.
three. I mean, I
But it's
and I
easy.
think
Like,
week two JDG will be better because Hope will be playing. Hope wasn't a bit. Hope wasn't
yeah, I
eligible
was
for week
thinking
one.
that.
Hope wasn't
I was
eligible for
thinking
week
that.
one.
What? Why was LPC playing when they got
So
Hope?
so
I was
basic
expecting to see Hope.
so I so I didn't know about this as well until Lyric on broadcast said it. I think it was yeah, it was Lyric. So Lyric basically said that because Hope was acquired late and he was acquired after the free agency period, so they cannot play him for the first week because he's not
Oh,
eligible.
okay.
So from week two and onwards, we should be able to see him.
But at least they take out the game um against CDG out of the way. It was a pretty much a game I lost series, I think overall. So so at least they don't test a Hope
Oh,
against that
I
team,
mean,
and they can
it,
test it against LGD.
one thing I will say, they looked better against RNG, but
Yeah,
RNG didn't look very good, which is again a very good transition. RNG, I'm disappointed. What is going on? Like, except for
I
Xiaohu,
think it was.
except for Xiaohu, everyone seems like I understand that Bin's going to take a bit of time to, you know, get used to playing with his new team, the new
Yeah,
system, blah blah blah. I understand that, right? Bin's fine. Way Way was off. I feel, right?
yeah, I can agree with that
And
because
then
I remember talking about sorry to cut you off, but I remember just quickly talking about Way. I remember talking about the RNG FPX matchup that the only way or the way that I see RNG winning against FPX is that Way takes complete control of the jungle and dumpsters. Um,
Beishon,
I for, yeah,
Beishon,
Beishon, because Beishon is it's a up and
he's a new
down
jungler,
kind of
yeah,
player. Yeah, so I thought that was the way that RNG was going to win, and it really didn't feel like that. Like you're saying, it was more Xiaohu and Ming being there and keeping up the RNG side
yes,
because I feel like after the first game, the second and third game, when FPX was comfortable in the game, they kind of controlled whatever they wanted to do.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like I I understand. As I said, I understand Bin not performing well. He needs some time. Wei was a bit disappointing to me, and well, I didn't expect much of Gala and Ming. Like I wouldn't put it past them. I think it's a bit of a it's a bit of a transition for them, given you know they no longer have the mid lane weak side.
Yeah,
But considering mid lane, Xiaohu is pretty much one v oneing anyone. Like everyone
yeah.
who's
It's like
come in front of him, and
he
he
didn't go away from mid, pretty much.
no, I mean it's like he went top, but he came back mid and he's playing Victor, which is technically a top lane
Yeah,
champion as well because the Shy played it. But That's the case for another thing. But it is a
Yep.
top lane champion. It's been played. It's been play, being played in solo queue for so damn long at this point. Like
Yeah,
like
it's Victor. I think like people finally realize what Victor can do, just that
I
they
mean,
didn't do it
it's not
previously.
really Victor. It's just the item. It's Crown of the Shattered Queen. That
Brown.
item is kind of busted. But yeah. Um. Okay. So that's RNG. Like a bit on FPX because I feel FPX is playing really well, right?
I like FPX a lot.
I think I like FPX really well. They're very aggressive. They try to make plays. The only thing I'll tell you is that the way the way they're playing right now, I don't think Clit gets a game.
That was actually something that I wanted to say about that, and it's will they try Cleat out in this next week to see if they can work out with that, or
I
will they
don't
just
think
stick
so.
with page one?
I don't know. Like I think
I think they
Bayshore
have
played
an
really
easy
well in
week.
their two series. I think Bayshore
Yeah,
played really well. Like like of course granted one was LGD. Like LGD. Uh
yeah, but and even though and against RNG you could see some of his fallacies, but he's
yes.
still like we're talking about. He's an up and down player. He can be very good, but he can also have some really questionable moments.
Yes.
But I think that this week against All Legends and JTG, like there's a good chance to try out Cleed, see if it meshes well, and if not, you go back to Patreon. And that's kind of the thing that I want to see because I feel like FPX is not investing or not buying Cleed to not play him once. It just
Yeah.
wouldn't make sense.
Though I will say this, I wouldn't underestimate JDG. I wouldn't underestimate them at this point. Like I feel JDG week 1 was again they underperformed, but
Yeah,
they did push RNG even though RNG wasn't isn't really at their peak, but they did push RNG and they have more to offer. It's just
they haven't
I agree
offered
with
it.
trying out Clid. I think trying Clid out with Always Legends against Always Legends is probably the perfect play, right? Get him
It's
in
always
there.
Legends. Yeah, anyone's Legend. Yeah.
Uh, at the, at the like,
Yeah.
hey guys, casters get it wrong too. I can too.
Yeah, that name like Aya.
AL, let's call them AL, whatever they are. Uh, so yeah, Munchables is ironically calling it all legends, but
Like
anyways,
yeah,
I think putting Clit in against AL will give you a grasp, but I feel since Beishuan has the hot hand, keep him. Like keep him in until he starts regressing. It's the same thing with the Leyan in
okay.
RA, right? If Leyan starts having bad games, put in Junja, right? So yeah,
Yeah, okay. I can get behind that.
yeah,
Especially because like you at least have a good base with Xiao Lao
yeah,
Hu, which has been playing really well, and
yeah.
the bot LWX and Hank, which also have been showing up really well as well. I think that those two lanes have by themselves played so well that if something happens with the jungle, you have much more
I will say this
leeway
though.
to take the risk.
I will say this though. FPX has not played a good bot lane yet.
Yeah, that
Like
is
a
true.
top, like a, I would say like a top 5 bot lane yet. Like,
Like
I,
Galaming
I,
was not bad.
no, I mean Gala and Ming didn't play that well. I feel they didn't pressure them as
Yeah,
much. They didn't pressure them as much. So I feel like when you play against the EDGs or the Weibo Gaming or BLG, like these are the teams that'll basically pull the.
OMG as well.
I mean, I mean OMG is not that aggressive, but uh,
But I think that that's a bot lane that can
R
trust you. Able
RA
cold are good.
RA
RAs as well.
RA is very aggressive. Like V5 is very aggressive. Like these are the kind of
Yeah.
like no, their bot lanes are actually very aggressive. So I feel like when you play against these teams, I mean I forgot obviously there's top esports. We don't have to mention them. Uh, uh,
I think we know why we didn't mention them.
they're kind of a flip, but I but
But they're there.
even then at base value, I think they'll push FPX a lot this bot lane. So I
Yeah.
feel that when that happens, what does FPX do? Like because Shalahu is playing really well, but if they're facing EDG, he's not going to get much of an advantage
Yeah,
because it's Flandre. I think I can say this for most of the bot lanes I mentioned, because most of these teams are basically like that. They're basically they're not only strong in bot lane, but they're also strong in top lane. So it's like you'll be faced in a situation where you're actually playing proper competition, which can actually fight you blow for blow. Then that's what I want to see. So
yeah.
let's round it off, because I don't think we need to talk much about like V5. V5 only played the one game, right?
Same with BLG.
I mean, I do want to talk about BLG because I want to talk about BLG's. I want to talk about BLG's opponent because that series was a nail biter. But rounding off V5, like I think V5 played WE. I don't know what the WE situation is because they're not playing Beishan for some reason, right?
Yeah,
But View's playing
well,
really
we were
well.
expecting to see Beishan
I think View's
much
playing
more so
really
than
well.
View.
I think View's playing really well, right? But
I think Stay and Kedaya though have been taking advantage of a lot.
yeah, I and it's a bit of growing pains. They're a new bot lane. Like I think we need to give them some time. But now the last two teams I want to talk about. Uh, I really want to talk about the one team, which is Weibo, because I feel they're a very interesting case, right? They're a
Yeah, and
very interesting
particularly
team.
Billy, I don't want to talk that much because we still haven't seen Uzi in that team. So,
Yes.
like Dogo, I don't Dogo didn't play bad necessarily, but like this is Dogo is not going to be the main.
Yeah, but
That's not
yeah,
going to happen.
yeah, but how I looked at this series, right? Weibo versus BLG.
Yep.
I think the only reason BLG won is because Weibo made too many mistakes, and that's it. I like the third game was really like there's so many mistakes on both sides.
Yeah.
Like um, so I feel like BLG really, and I will confess I didn't watch the game as intently as I should have because Genji DK was going on.
Genji the damn one.
I
That
mean, I mean,
yeah.
if if anyone didn't watch that series, please go back. Please go watch the VOD.
Do yourselves a favor. That was a
Do
good
yourselves
series.
a favor because that series was
That was great. I
probably the best
really
series
liked
I've
it.
watched so far because it was madness all around. But
We'll
coming
get
back,
to that in a minute. Yeah.
yeah, but coming back to like Weibo, what I see from Weibo is Weibo has very good laning because Huang Fan's a monster.
Yeah.
Huang
I
Fan's a
think I think
monster.
that Wang has pretty much to be won. Like
And
nothing against On, but like I think it's been Wang and extra against the enemy bot lane, pretty much. That's how
yeah,
I felt watching the Weibo bot lane.
yeah, and then there's Angel, who's who's improved yet again. Like his trajectory has always been upwards, and it's still going upwards.
Yeah.
And then there's a Shy, which we're seeing glimpses of his old self. Because, frankly speaking, the only way he's dying, like the most of the time when I see him dying, it's basically 2 or 3 men top. They're
Yeah,
bas-
so doing what he did previously,
I mean,
gaining pressure towards topside
I
and
mean,
getting killed
they're
because of the
getting
pressure.
pressure, and I think the biggest thing about the Shy is, and this is very indicative of the first series they played. The Shy literally won them 2 team fights in 2 different
Yeah.
games. The Shy literally like that one clip. I know after this was, I know it was his Gwen play. Everyone was like, yeah, everything's like Weibo is backing off. Um, I they play W is
Yeah.
aggressively coming forward. All of a sudden,
They had a Jinx excited at
and
that
all
point.
of a sudden he just turned. Like the Shy just turned and practically took out half of the HP of whoever was in front of him. And
I think it
all of a
was
sudden they just
Jarvan
turned.
and Jinx at that time running on towards them, and the Shy turns around, kill, bursts 2 members out, and pretty much just make it so that they cannot win,
and
and actually wins the game.
yeah, and the same series, the following game, right? Uh, there's they pick he picks Graves. They're having a fight. No one died, and he practically
Yeah,
snipes two of them, and all of a sudden, Weibo just goes, "Okay, go for it, take everything." Like at that point, like the Shy, even today, even earlier today against BLG, right?
BLG.
I mean, it'll be yesterday for most LPL fans.
Yeah,
Even for me, it's pretty late. But uh, but BLG, like against BLG, he was playing the first game. He was playing the Gwen, and all of a sudden he just snaps into them, and he's like, "Okay, I got this. This is mine." Like
yeah. Essentially turning around a lot of the games. His win has been great. Like it certainly shows that he either has played it a lot or he's super comfortable in that champion,
yes,
on the
and
champion.
and I honestly think that Weibo's problem is actually the decision making, because at times they try to, like, especially SOFMs. SOFM has been making some
Okay.
questionable all-ins. Let's put it that
Actually,
way.
yes.
They're very
I,
questionable. Like he goes in while I remember the one instance SOFM went in, but Angel was bot lane, and he didn't have TP. So basically, uh, when SOFM went in, he he just got pretty much focused
obliterated.
and
Yeah.
killed, and then Angel's just bot lane, and Weibo just lost a fight, and it's like these questionable decisions is what I think Weibo needs to clear out. Other than that,
Which,
I see a lot of good things with this team, and I think it'll improve when Sword Art
yeah,
plays.
yeah, that's the thing. That was what I wanted to ask. So you think that as soon as Sword Art, or when Sword Art gets here, a lot of these questionable plays should go away, since he's pretty much going to be the man calling the
I
shots.
f- I feel when Sword Art comes in, they're gonna make less mistakes.
Okay.
How less, I don't know, because individually, at this very moment, they are literally at the top of their game. Because because the
So the best
because
they can.
because
No.
Huang Feng is building leads out of nowhere.
Okay. Okay.
Angel's building
Okay.
leads
Then
out of
I
nowhere.
guess I get what you
The
mean. Yeah,
Shy is
I get
building
what you
leads
mean
out of
now.
nowhere. Like they're basically building leads, like by themselves. It's not really jungle intervention. Like SOFM doesn't gank as much, but
Yeah, no, it's
these
them
three
playing
individuals
really well individually.
are basically like bossing people around,
Yeah.
which is why people are diving the Shy. So that's football. Football makes an
I was just,
appearance, guys.
yeah, just a quick cameo.
Quick cameo. Hey,
Talking a
so
quick
yeah,
cameo
so
while talking about
I
Weibo.
mean, I mean that's basically Weibo, right? But
Yeah,
W is in a bit of a slump. Top esports, I don't know how to put them. Like I put them fairly low in when I did my power rankings. I put them fairly low. They were like what
but
11th or
not
something.
this low.
They were like 11th or something because I
Wait,
mean
actually,
yes, like because when I looked at like there was EDG, OMG, FPX, LNG, BLG, V5, uh, RA, Weibo, RNG. Like,
well, in all honesty, we didn't expect RA to be much more higher than
I
them,
mean, I mean,
but
we didn't expect RA to be higher. I didn't really expect FPX to be this high. Like, FPX played
yeah,
better than I expected. Like, OMG, I think 3-0 was expected. TES, not really expected. WE, I mean, I don't know how to rate WE at the moment. Like, I
yeah,
think they're very competitive, but they faced against Weibo and uh,
B5.
Weibo and V5, yeah. So I feel like,
Like I think they are not bottom three 100%. Like I think they are not bottom three
I
for
mean,
me.
definitely. I think, like, they faced against two teams I feel that can be top six.
Yeah,
That can be top six, right?
yeah, yeah.
Are you regretting
That is
your
true.
pick yet, TDS? Weibo not making playoffs?
I'm hating it so much, but there's just still like the good thing is that I feel like Weibo will not improve that much with
Yeah.
Sword Art.
Okay.
Like
Uh,
I'm still what is it called not sure enough that Sword Art will improve this team
yeah.
massively in comparison to other things.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm betting on because
Yeah.
if not, yeah, then yeah,
Yeah.
Weibo is going to shut me up.
So yeah, we'll be doing predictions at the end. So
Okay.
let's move on. Let's go to the LCK, right?
Woo!
Because I mean, what a
It
match
was
was it
so
today?
fun.
What a match was it today? Like, uh, we have to start with this. Genji DK.
Like
Holy shit,
I'm
right?
happy that this happened like this because it really showcased that we have potentially three great teams in the LCK. Like three great teams in the LCK
I don't know
with
about T1
Genji,
yet.
Damwon, and
I
T1.
will admit, I don't know about
I,
T1
I, I
yet.
I did say I'm saying potentially, but at least I think Genji and Damwon is
Oh,
certainly
Genji and
showcasing that they
Damwon
can
at
be
the
great.
top right now. Like, Genji and
And
Damwon
Damwon
are here.
without a top.
Everyone else is like here. Like, it's like, dude.
I think T1 is up there with them, but they still need to get tested against a good team at least or a decent team because Freaks. Mm,
I mean, the thing is,
yeah,
uh, like Genji DK. I think what jumped out to me was the fact that Chovy didn't have one of those series where you go, okay, there's Chovy.
yeah. No,
He
I
literally
think that
himself at the post series interview, he basically said, "I played so bad. Thank you to my team for carrying me." That's what he said.
yeah,
That was the
I agree
translated
hundred
version,
percent.
obviously. But
Yeah,
I mean,
but I agree
when
hundred
he
percent.
says
Like
that, right? Sorry to cut you off, but
no, no
when
problem.
he says that, right? I mean, good lord, like what is this team?
That shows you that it's no longer a Chovy Live Esports or Chovy RX. It's actually a team
Yes.
that can play without Chovy. So that is great news already for
Yep.
Gen G. And I want to say also I did like this was a series to me where both Showmaker and Chovy kind of like neutralized each other in a way that they didn't
Yes.
play pretty much. I felt like
Yes.
neither appeared that much. Even Showmaker had some kind of good plays, but it didn't feel like Showmaker playing.
Yeah.
It was more so on the rest of both teams playing than their mid laners,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's a great thing to say because well we know that Canyon can appear on Damwon, but Dogdam and Kelly have been stepping up really well. I still feel like the top lane situation is interesting because I feel like Damwon are playing without a top laner.
So
Like
here's the
it's
thing.
feeling like that.
I don't think there would be too much of a difference between Hoya and Birdle. I hate to say it.
That is true.
I because
That I can get behind.
how DK is playing is basically like I think we talked about it before, like pre series everything, like pre LCK starting. It's basically I felt Damwon would play like how they're playing right now. They'd
Yeah,
basically instead of going top all the time, they just go bot all the time, which is basically what Canyon's doing. And
yeah,
and that's and when I look at that, I'm like, yeah, that works. Which is why I think
it makes
even if they
sense.
had Hoya or Birdle, I don't think it makes much of a difference. Because I don't think anyone. Like, I think Hoya, as the series went on, he played better. Honestly, I
I think
think.
his Gragas was better than the Gragas in the last game was the best out of any game.
Yeah.
I think that it made him much more not durable, but it made him actually be a factor in the games
Yes.
because I think that with carries he just simply never was there.
Yeah.
Like instead with Gragas tank, he could go for plays. If he died, it wasn't as bad.
Yeah.
And if ganks happen, he had much more chance to be durable and survive.
Yeah.
Something that I think made it easier then for Canyon, Kellyn, and Dogdam to try and carry through bot lane, to bot side late. And I think that they did that as much as they could in the
Yeah.
third game until Genji were able to come back
Yeah.
in a great way.
Like my my thoughts on this is like how DK is playing exactly how I expected, right? I don't think their top lane situation is like as expected. They have they will their top laners, whoever is playing, has to learn how to play weak side because
Yeah,
Jogdam and Kellyn are proving that they are really really good. and
Yeah,
you can't shake that
it's
off.
great.
And then and it's not like a jungler can be everywhere all the time. So I feel like this is the best way that they can play is basically, yeah, let's get let's go bot lane, let's give resources to Dugdom and Kellen, let's see what we got, and then Hoya or Birdle, whoever's playing top lane, just rest easy. We good.
Yeah,
On Genji though, what's surprising to me about Genji is not that you know Chovy has a team, right? It's not Ruler. It's Peanut and Lehens. Because I've
yeah.
said
I think they're
because
working
I've
really
said
well.
because I've said this before, and I've defended Peanut, and you guys have kind of gone against me on this. I said Peanut's going to be very good.
Yeah, I was in between.
There we are. The evidence is right there. Week one, Peanut. So what Peanut brings is not just his play, which I think has improved because he's playing really aggressive. He's calling the shots. He's basically going in. This
Yeah,
is no
he's not
longer a
scared.
farm. This is not a farm fest anymore. He's skirmishing. And then there's Lehens, the resurgence. He finally has a good bot laner.
The
Again,
resurgence.
again. He finally
Yeah,
has a good ADC to play around. Again,
yeah, and they have shown
obviously,
it.
again.
It's just feels great to see.
I mean, Doran game 2 today was spectacular. His Gragas was making a mess of
The
everything.
casks that he got in those games were so perfect. I'm surprised. I've seen like we have seen a lot of Gragas play in the regions, in the three regions pretty much. In four regions, although you said that you haven't watched
I
LPLs
haven't
yet.
watched
So
much
in the
of
three
LOL yet,
regions,
no.
yeah. So in the three regions, we have seen a lot of Gragas play, but I think that Doran's Gragas has been one of the more standouts. I think comparable to maybe Wonder, and there was another one in the LPL, Shenji. I
Shangri,
think
yeah.
have been kind of the more standout Gragas play that we have seen, and his play today was really good with the Gragas engages, especially the casks, were almost perfect almost all the
Oh,
time.
I mean, I can't speak enough about Genji because when we were talking about the fact that Genji could actually like
Be dark
outright
horses.
win the split,
Yeah,
this is becoming a reality because they're not really at their peak yet because
yeah, no.
they still have these team fight blemishes. They sometimes have these weird decisions that they make.
Even yeah, even around the game, not even just in teamfights, but there's still some decisions around the game that you can question them from
Yeah.
taking. But like we were expecting Gen G to be a team that spring may be harsh, but I think come summer they'll be a great team, and
Yeah.
maybe they can push that a little bit earlier with what we have seen. They're like even though they commit mistakes, they seem to be on the same page most of the time,
Yes.
and they are willing to go for plays. Like
Yes.
this is one of the things that we argued about this Gen G. Will it stay the same or will they change? And they have certainly shown that this is not Gen G, the Gen G of old. This is the new generation of Gen G, and the new way they are playing is not waiting for anything to happen. They will be willing to go for those plays. I
Yes.
think that it has shown. Like the aggressiveness that they sometimes go for has been great to see, and it turned around the game against them one.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, that was
Ah, that
Genji
was
EK.
great.
I mean, that was the best series I've seen this week. But
Yeah, it was
transitioning
great.
on to another team that I'm impressed with, right? And
T1.
this will come as a surprise. It's actually Frederick Brion. I'm impressed.
Yeah,
I am
I think
very
it's impressed
impressed.
not only you. It's
I
impressed not
am
only you. I can say
very
that confidently.
impressed by this team. We all thought, oh, they got Morgan. What's he gonna do? Well, for starters, I mean,
Play better.
play. No, it's not that he's playing better. It's like what's 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 very very interesting about Frederick Brion is their teamwork. Like
Yeah,
their teamwork is so precise. It's like and it's not like and when they get a lead they're like okay I'm gonna chill. Uh, We're not going to take any risks.
No, they are willing. They are
We're not
willing
going to
to
take any
take
risks.
to use that lead.
Yeah, we're not taking any risks. We're going to play this safe. We're going to build this up, and then we're going to smack you in the face
They're going
because
to
we're
smack you
100%
with their
sure we beat you.
wallets, pretty much. Yeah.
I mean, like, and they gave T1 so many fits. I'll be honest. They gave T1 probably the most fits I've seen any other team give them. Like they've given them fits
Yeah.
because T1 had no idea what was going on. And a huge
I
shout out
mean,
to I think basically a huge shout out to Umti. I think Umti's played spectacularly well. Uh,
Umti has been like I think even last year he was getting this team to a spot where many people didn't expect. I think that Bro was one of those teams that always played a spoiler
yeah,
and looked to do that. But I think Umti was playing really well then, and even now he's certainly showing that he's a really good jungler and that he wants to stay here. Like not I mean not in Bro, but playing professionally because he's playing so well.
yes, he
Played
is.
this two series has been playing so well. And I think also in credit to the T1 game, I feel like T1 was like the rest of us, not expecting anything out
Yep.
of Bro, and Bro really making them sweat because I think that
Yeah.
a couple of things go wrong here and there. Bro could have 2-0'd.
Yeah. Like like that one game where they stole two barons.
Yeah,
I mean
like
that game was
I was
winnable.
worried. Like I was really worried that series, but it came back. T1 is still T1, and they were able to pull it off. But yeah, bro, I have to give credit to bro because I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting anything like that. First of all, I was expecting to see Sword in the top lane, not Morgan.
I mean,
But
Morgan's pretty much solidified himself at this point
yeah,
because
I
I
think
think
I think the
Morgan works really
decision
well.
was a good one.
I think
I
Morgan
think the
plays really
decision
well
was a
with
good
this
one.
team.
Also, Lava has been playing so well as well.
Well,
Like
I mean,
he's really
we
playing
did
great.
remember we had an episode with Kim from the LCK Discord, and he was
Yeah,
basically saying why did they keep Lava? Well, I think we know the reason why at this point because I
yeah.
think
It seems like,
it's like I don't think they're individually the best players because
but as a unit, they work well.
I think Umti is probably the best player, and I think you can make a case for
Yeah.
Umti for being one of the better junglers of the LCK. You can make
Yep.
a very good case for him. But as a unit, they're a different team. This is like they have an idea in their mind, like we're gonna play this way. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna follow through. We're not gonna make a We're not gonna make huge mistakes, and then we're just going to snowball the game, build up the lead, like play it as methodically as we can, and then win the game when we're 100% sure we can.
Yep. And I feel like this has to be. I think it has to finally be give credit to, or at least, like they have to finally recognize how valuable this coaching staff is
Yeah.
because they have through thick and thin go with, or at least last year and this year, bro. I think the way that they have playing and the fact that they are here, it's thanks to Edgar and the coaching staff from Bro. Like
Yes.
that coaching staff is so good to
Yeah.
make Bro a team that can be recognizable and good to see. Like
Yeah.
that is not
Yeah.
something easy to pull off with this kind of players. And Edgar really, I think, cementing himself as one of the best coaches the LCK has had
Yeah.
or has at least.
I honestly can't say enough of bro. Honestly, like I can't. Uh,
It's surprising. It's the same with Ra, right? It's kind of the same with Ra. Like it's surprising in a really positive way.
yes.
It's not that they have won because
Yeah.
of lucky or things like that. Like they have actually played with a plan and played well around that plan.
Yeah.
I even want to say, I want to use this as a segue because I want to also say that Hanwha Live has been a positive surprise as well. We expected nothing, and I think that they have shown really great things as well.
Yes.
Onfleek, I think, has surpassed what I was expecting of him just at the start. Like I think he's playing around what you want out of your jungler. He's aggressive. He goes for some in plays, but he gets the plays for his team
Yeah.
to work out. And I think carries and Samdi have been two of the better carries that we have seen this week,
But
particularly Samdi.
to be fair, to be fair, on Fleek is currently played Dread and Umti.
Umti, yeah.
I don't think that highly of Dread. Let's be fair.
That is true.
Umti's
Like
really good in my opinion,
we have the timer.
and I think Umti ran around, like ran laps around him at one point, like
Yeah,
and
I think that on Flick is still hasn't gone against the best of the best, and when he has to go against Kenyon, I
Peanut.
obviously want to say Peanut owner, and I think Cos as well. Just to put it out there, Cos as well. I think that he will
I
mm,
mean,
face a huge wall.
I mean, it's not. I don't think it's just Cuz though, because I think when you're facing Croco as well, because
Ah, sorry, I forgot Croco. I
yeah,
was yeah,
I
Cos
mean,
as well and Croco. Yeah,
I mean, Croco, like, and then you face these teams and you're like, what happened? And you're like, yeah, smacked in the face. That's what happened.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. Like I like Hanwha, but I think that they will get a little reality check sooner than later.
yeah,
Same,
but
I think the same with Bro, but I think that they are showing that they are maybe not the worst teams in comparison to a couple two that we have that certainly don't seem like nothing.
yeah, I mean, honestly, since you brought that up about the bottom, let's talk about
Ugh.
DRX and KDF,
Ugh.
because I understand DRX to a certain extent, right? I understand it to a
I want
certain
to
extent
cry with that.
because first of
Yeah,
all, DRX would be at best 1-1 because I don't think they beat Genji in any
yeah,
way, shape, or
that's true.
form.
Like good. Take it or leave it. I think they are 1 or 1. Like you're saying, Genji, it's
At
above them.
best. Now the thing is, yes, they lost to Sandbox. The Sandbox punched him in the face quite hard.
And I'm willing to say that the biggest diff was not even in the jungle, was in top.
Yeah, that was kind of surprising.
Like
I mean,
against Sandbox, the biggest diff being top lane, that's
I,
bad to say
I,
the least.
but I understand the DRX bit because this is four different players coming to a new team. That means these five players have never played together. Like we
That
have.
is true.
I mean,
Well, I think King and Piosik have,
I
at
mean,
least.
yeah, they have, right?
Which were the worst part.
Yeah, but it's like I think they have a different, uh, they have a different, voice comms. I think that different, leadership, etc. I think a lot of things has changed with this team. So I feel,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm not going to say DRX is done or whatever, but because at best they'd be 1-1, right? So I'm not really that down on them. KDF on the other
But,
hand, KDF on the other hand, what the hell, man?
like,
You
they could
lost.
perfectly be 2
You
0.
lost to. I mean, for so to give a bit more caveat to KDF as well, they lost to
They
T1.
were against T1, yeah.
I mean, T1 probably
Which
would
I
have
think
beat them.
it's a.
Probably would have
I
beat
think
them.
they would have lost as well.
Probably, but losing to KT
In
is a
the
smack in
manner
the
that they
face.
lost.
Is a smack in the face. Yeah, is a smack in the face. You have the best top laner in Keen in the LCK. Well, I mean, at this point,
Now
I
that Doran is here,
I mean,
like I feel like Doran is now it's now putting himself in that spot though.
I it's just 1 week. I can't do
That
that
is
in
true.
1 week.
That is true.
But Keen has to be the best top laner, and yet this is what we're getting.
Yeah,
It's
it wasn't that great. Like in like kind of in backup of Kin, I do gotta say that he's also kind of playing with one of the worst junglers in the league.
yeah,
Like Elim has been disastrous to say the least.
yes.
Like I was expecting a bit more out of Elim because I think that his time on T1
I,
wasn't that bad,
I
but
what's
he's
hurting
just
this team, I
make a
feel.
fool of.
Yeah, what's hurting this team, I feel, is the fact that it's not just LM. It's the fact that at times Fate opts for the utility mid laners,
Yeah,
and I feel that can't happen at the
they
moment.
need him to carry
No,
100%.
I'm not saying the utility mid laners don't work, right? You can
I feel
pick
like they
utility
don't
mid
work
laners,
here.
that is fine, right? But for this team, you kind of need to put your carry pants on. Just put it
Yeah,
on.
no, like I get your point. Like I feel for this team in the situations that they are, they need Fate to be there
Yeah,
because Teddy will be like Teddy Hoyt has been a bot lane that realistically they don't get that much resources first of all, and then Hoyt just doesn't feel that great as a
yeah,
support player right now. So Teddy's kind of playing 1v2 in the bot lane, and he cannot do that much.
yeah,
And then Keen, like Kin has just been there.
yeah,
Like you're saying, it's not that he's been the worst top laner or anything like that, but he hasn't shown that he's the
yeah,
best top laner either, from
yeah.
what we expected. So you need to Fate to also be a piece that can play the game. And a lot of people were saying that Fate was one of the better parts out of this out of these
No,
freaks
I'm not
team.
blaming
So
Fate. I'm not blaming Fate. I
no,
think,
no, I'm not blaming either. I just feel like you need to use Fate much more than just throwing
yeah,
utility picks on him.
yeah, true. Like, so other than that, right? Other than I feel like I can segment LCK in this way, right? We have the top two teams. Then there's the
Top
one
three, but
team
yeah,
right beneath them, which is T1. Because
yeah.
again, T1 has not been as convincing as like Genji has been, or even as DK has been. Like the Genji DK series showed pretty much like what a difference
Like
there is
I
right
think that
now.
it's cemented really well those two
Yeah,
teams.
like right now there's a big difference between there's a good amount of difference between Genji DK and T1. These two
Okay,
and T1 there's a difference that you can actually spot very easily at this point. Then I feel after T1 you can put everyone in a bowl and do the lottery. Uh,
and then there's Africa,
and then you
and then
pick
there's the
one.
freaks.
Huh? No, no, no. I put
And
every
below
single
that,
one of them in the bowl because
I
I
think freaks is below that. In all honesty, I feel like freaks just is not up to par with almost any other
again it's
team
one
above
week.
them.
Again it's 1 week, right?
Yeah, but I feel like in the first week, like freaks have just been headless chickens.
Yeah.
I feel like, so it just feels not
I
like
again
they are not even in that ball if I put them.
I think a lot of with freaks and DRX. I think they'll take time. They'll need time because this is a very new
Okay.
team. These are very new teams. It's not like Frederick Brion who's running back the entire team. Just difference is Morgan, right?
Yeah, it's not like they were the same players plus Morgan.
like
That is true, by the way.
like I feel we need to give it some time. Even Nongshim, like Nongshim had a very easy schedule. Even then they went 1-on-1.
Yeah, but Nongshim, I think Nongshim is much more questionable
No,
as well
I'm just
because
saying they went 1-on-1 and they had a very easy schedule.
yeah, Nongshim is
So
questionable as well. I so
you can put all the rest of the 7 teams on this bowl, and basically you know do the
see what
lottery,
happens.
and pick something out, and then we'll see what happens, right? Because
Overall,
I
in that kind of idea, I can agree.
I do think the one that's separating themselves from the rest of the 6 is probably Bro at the moment, based on 1 week,
Yeah,
because Bro's communication, um,
I think because they have
communication, decision
they
making.
clearly have an idea.
They
I
clearly
think
have an
that's
idea. They clearly have a style, and they have a decision making, an idea, and
yeah,
like a pathway and a very good shot calling. That okay, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this. Like they basically
yeah.
have a
I'm
very
willing to
solid
put them at
idea
least
of how to
above
play
them.
this game. So
Yeah, I'm at least, bro. I'm winning. I think they deserve to be above the other teams
I mean,
because they
I think they're
showcase that they
separating.
can be.
Yeah, I think they can separate, but again, it's 1 week. That's why I want to say,
It's
okay,
true.
let's calm our horses for a bit. Let's see another week, then we can probably
I
hit the
think
gavel.
like this next week is going to be fun for some teams
Yes.
because I think that this will be a great test for bro. Not because they can win this, but this is going to be their hardest week. Like this, it's probably the hardest week
Yeah,
you can ever hope for.
sadly I love Bro, but it's gonna be 0-2. But again,
Yeah, this may
but
be a
okay,
one
okay,
three.
wait,
This may
hold on,
be a one
hold
three
on,
start.
hold on. Maybe not, because Bro's got DK's number.
That is true. Like if one team, you remember when there was that Africa T1 thing?
Yeah,
It's bro DK now.
I mean, bro's got DK's number for some reason.
Also, even if DRX and Freaks don't win anything last week, at least one of the two will not be winless next week. At least.
At least. Anyways, now let's move on to the LEC, right? Let's move on to the LEC before we
Woo!
go to the next week, right? LEC, biggest thing that jumps out,
Am I
Vitality zero
hyped?
two, Vitality 02, 03.
So remember when I talked about the three teams that I think should kick themselves in the balls because that would be better than this? Those three teams were Freaks, DRX, and Vitality. I think it was pretty obvious, not gonna
Oh,
lie,
it was
but
obvious,
yeah,
but
like,
yeah.
oh no, oh no.
I mean, the thing is, I will defend Vitality for a single point, right? This is a different
Their
team.
matchups.
No, this is a different team. This is a very new team again, right? And
Okay,
reportedly, and so this was before the LEC started, right? Apparently, a lot of the teams have been facing COVID issues.
okay.
So G2 apparently a few of them actually had COVID, and they were playing.
Huh.
And like Alfari's cam was also off. He was streaming and he was also off. So it might be that he's self isolating as well. So I feel like there is a COVID issue, right? Probably.
Okay.
So maybe there's something to that, but also they're a new team, right? It takes some time. But I will push
Yep.
back on one thing. You should not have lost the two games you lost this week. You
Three.
They got
Or
complete no two, because they got
so you.
completely dominated by Mad and Excel.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
They like Mad completely ran them over. Mad
Yeah,
ran them
it
over.
wasn't pretty.
And then there's Excel, which they're 0-2, like things are looking bad, and they come to
And they turn it
against
around.
Vitality. All of a sudden, they're a good team. They're a very good team. I'm like, what's going on?
Like
Like,
it's funny that the best Vitality game was against the hardest opponent, pretty much, and
but to
they
be
were almost able
honest,
to pull it off.
the reason it was close against Fnatic was because of his self-made.
Yeah,
Self-made took it upon himself to try to carry that team, carry that game.
kind
He
of
tried.
like how the BDS game against Fnatic, it was closer because Adam was trying to maybe play as hard as he could, and obviously it fell down because you're playing Darius. Like that's
I mean,
apart from the
not
only
only
way that
that,
maybe you can play.
there's
But
some
yeah,
there's some extra motivation to play good against Fnatic.
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But it wasn't enough.
No, but the thing is, with Vitality, I feel they're not dead yet, right? They're not
It's
dead yet.
first week.
Yes,
Yeah.
first week. Let's not write the
I
obituary
also agree
yet.
that it's they're not dead yet.
However,
That they're not dead yet.
however, if they lose both their games next week, we can start writing it.
Oh yeah.
Because if they lose their
Yeah.
both of their games next week, I think they're done so.
The thing is, I think they are going to lose one of those. I
I mean,
think
I mean,
G2 will
I haven't
win.
exactly checked, I haven't exactly checked the schedule yet, but I'll leave it at that. Basically, we'll anyways get to that in a bit. So anyway,
Yeah.
so I mean, we can set it off aside for a bit, but it is a bit concerning, and I think the biggest, and other than that, the biggest concern with Vitality is the fact that Perks, he's nowhere close to what people are expecting him to be. He's nowhere
Yeah, he's
close.
nowhere close to where I thought he was going to be.
Like
Uh,
like I I think the first when they played against Mad, it was basically an ego pick, in my opinion, picking Akshan into Yasuo. Granted, you have a huge advantage pre-level pre-level 3 because Yasuo doesn't have a wind wall yet, right? But after
and
that, what are you doing?
yeah,
What are you doing against Yasuo anymore?
playing to win the first three levels, it's probably not the best way of playing.
I
I
mean,
feel like.
obviously, there's a bit there's a bit that they played into Mad's hands because Mad basically said, "Okay, Diana Yasuo, we're just gonna stomp you." Case closed.
Yeah,
Case
and they
closed.
play they, and it's something that certainly they have played because they played that in the first two games really well, and they I think executed quite well in the both games. So it certainly shows that they are really practiced on that,
Yeah,
and they won really well against Vitality with that.
yeah, yeah. And so wrapping up Vitality, I feel like if this team has any chance to be good, it has to be on the back of Perks. Because I feel Alfari played well enough. I feel Alfari is putting his best foot forward to try and propel this team, right?
Yeah,
But with the meta as it is, I don't know if you can rely on bot lane to carry because clearly that's not Karzi's forte, right?
yeah.
That's not the
And I feel
best.
like they still need like I still also I feel like Karsi Labrov are still need to find themselves. They're still certainly not.
Yeah, they need some time. But
Yeah.
but I feel like if Perks is not playing well, I don't know if this team does well. Like today, Nuke Duck was outplaying him, and Nuke Duck
Yeah,
was
that's not a
for
good
most of
sign.
the game. Nuke Duck was 0-0-0. Yes, Nuke Duck was 0-0-0 for most of the
Yeah.
game. For a huge chunk of the starting of the game, for the huge chunk of the game at the start, Nuke Duck was 0-0-0, and
Yep.
it's very cathartic that it came to that, right? Like
Yeah, and I was one of the people that thought that this was that Perks was going to come back strong. Like he was from the first series, he was going to showcase himself, and
I
it's
I
leaving a lot to be
yeah,
desired.
I forgot the exact wording on Azael's tweet after Vitality lost the first game, right? Azael made a tweet that like it was something along the lines of you can leave NA, but NA will never leave you.
Yeah,
It's I mean
it feels true. It feels true at
it
this point.
feels true at the moment. Like I feel,
Yeah,
but I think they'll bounce back. Like there's no way but up except when facing
it's
G2. Except
yeah,
facing
it's week
G2.
one, and they are facing G2 in the next week. So going against
I mean,
Boston,
listen,
like
even
Caps
if
has
they
been looking great.
listen, if they lose against G2, I don't mind, right? I don't mind.
They cannot lose against SK though.
No, they can
Against
lose.
sorry,
They can't lose
against
both
BDS.
games. Is what I mean.
They no, but I mean they cannot lose against BDS. I feel like that is a team that you cannot lose against because BDS, it's not a playoff team.
I mean,
Like they are not a team that
I
you
will
are
push
with that
back.
you are scared of
I
playing.
will push
So
back because I'm liking what I'm seeing from BDS, right? I think
I'm not. I feel like they're not a
Syncroft.
BDS team.
I
Let's see.
think Syncroft has been very proactive. He's trying to make plays across the map.
Yeah.
Um, Limit is basically trying to maneuver Xmati, and Xmati still needs a bit of time to get used to, playing against the LEC bot lanes. I am concerned with Adam and Niclorent because I feel like some games they play really well and some games they don't. That's the only concern
Uh,
in my opinion.
and Xmati has been there.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like
Xmati
I
needs a bit
still
of time.
don't. Yeah, that's kind of the only
Yeah,
the positive that he still needs to get accustomed.
yeah.
But I still feel like BDS is not close to a playoff team, and I feel like if Vitality lose against BDS, I'm like you, and I'm already willing to write them off
So
because that is a matchup that I
yeah,
expect them to win. Not even only because of being a better team, but just by players, I expect them to be able
yeah,
to win.
yeah. I think they'll be better next week. I believe so.
Yeah,
So moving
that
on to the
that's
rest of the
that's the hope
teams.
of Vitality, certainly.
Moving on to the rest of the teams, Fnatic, right? Um,
Uh, a little what we expected. I think overall what we expected, apart from some, I think
I
some
Fnatic still
things
has a
here
lot
and
of
there.
Fnatic still has a lot of minor issues that need to clear up,
Yeah,
right? Razork, he's been way too aggressive. He's been making too he's been being extremely proactive as he is, which is why I like the signing. But at this point, he needs to tone it out a bit, a notch, just a
yeah.
notch.
There's no like the follow from the team to Razork's play certainly has not been there yet.
Yeah,
Like it certainly shows that there's still some synergy that you need to build as a
yeah,
team. Even though they have been playing great, I think that there's still some synergy issues that are
Yeah.
pretty clear. I think obviously when you change your whole top side, it's going to
Yeah.
be much more obvious. But individually, I think that they have been playing great, and that's also what has been making these kind of mistakes not be as bad. And when it's a team play in a 5v5 situation, I think that they have been really uh, secure, or the word would be much more. They feel like they are close to achieving that one
Yes.
mindset when they want to go for plays.
Yeah.
So I think overall a great start as a new team. And like we were saying, the parts just feel like they fit perfectly with what they want
Yes.
to achieve.
Like I think they've got the right recipe down. It's more time. It's more
Yeah.
getting into the idea of okay, who's calling the because because this is what I got from their post game interviews, right? Humanoid going into the team, he's gotten a big voice there.
Okay.
He's gotten a big voice because he was one of the big voices in Mad when he was in
Yeah.
Mad, like and he's bringing that into this team, and you can see like Fnatic's better in the mid game. Fnatic's not making as many mistakes as they were making last. Like they're not as coin flippy. Let's call it that, right? They're not
Yeah.
as coin
That is
flippy.
certainly
I think
better.
they've gotten a bit more stability because I think the comms has gotten more stable, and I think Wonder has been what I expected. A rejuvenated player. He basically comes in and basically says, okay, you guys counted me out. I'm coming back,
Yep.
right? And I think Wonder's been like a bit short of spectacular at this point. Like he's been so good. I can't disparage him in any way, shape, or form. Razork, I think he needs to tone it down a bit. Humanoid's taking a bit of time to get used to, his his entire presence is making this team better. And I don't think we need to speak much about Upset and
The
Hillisang.
bot lane.
Like because Hillisang is a one man army upon himself. LEC teams,
I
a
love that.
tip. Do
I
not
love
give
that.
him Rakan. Do not
That
give him
game, that
Rakan.
Rakan game, that Rakan game was Chevsky's level for heroes, and certainly showing
I
that.
don't think they win that game without his
Uh,
Rakan. I
yeah,
think they
like
lose.
his play in that game was so good.
Oof.
And Upside, I think also showing that he wants to play, that he wants to keep on playing, and that whatever happened previously, it's not hindering his play that much anymore.
No,
So that's great to see.
because because I feel that shouldn't, right? He deserved to go to Worlds. He had an unfortunate
Yeah,
situation. He had an unfortunate personal. He had an unfortunate personal situation. We're gonna leave it at that. It's his business. It's not our. It's not our right to know.
yeah,
If he shares it, great. But if he doesn't, good on him. We don't have to discuss it. But it shouldn't
yeah. I
affect him.
think the important thing is that
In
it's
fact, I think
probably
it's
something that has been
yeah.
surpassed.
I think it's actually motivating him.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
it's
that it's
actually
good feel for him.
fueling him. Okay, these guys think I abandoned my team at Worlds. I'll show you. He made a tweet
I
earlier
hope he
too,
does.
like he basically about Twitch chat. The Twitch chat
Yeah,
kind of flaming his wife. Like it's a bit of a situation. I wouldn't want it upon him. Like I don't think it's right. But again, I'm no one to judge. It's
yeah.
just my opinion. That's it. But yeah, moving back into the Rift, let's talk about one team I'm exceptionally impressed with because I because even though I voted them in my predictions, I never thought they'd be this good. It's Mad Lions.
Because we didn't like them.
No,
Okay.
I voted them. I voted them
I
in
was
every
no,
single
I
one
was
of them.
thinking no, I was thinking we were talking about the other team, but
No,
yeah,
no. I mean, I'm gonna get to them as well, right?
yeah,
But
but yeah,
but Mad was way better than I
mad.
expected.
Yeah, for a team that had to change two of its most crucial pieces, and we
To
talked
the
about
carry.
this, like the pieces that they changed were not something that was like you think, and yeah, these two pieces you need to change. No, no, no. Those were some of the most important pieces to what made 2021 Mad Lions good.
Oh my
And they
goodness,
changed those
Mad
two
is so good.
pieces, and they're still playing to a level that we simply didn't expect.
Yeah,
So credit, it's like I think it has finally come to the point where we cannot question whatever the coaching staff of Matt decides,
yeah,
because they certainly have a good idea of what they want to do, and they are able to execute on that idea as well.
yeah. But yeah, I'm like I can't be more impressed with Matt than I have been in years past, because I feel
Yep.
last year I've been very impressed with their team fighting, right? The
Sorry.
team fighting has always been a trademark. They somehow find these fights even when
Yeah.
they're behind to just win them games. And I will say this: they've almost done this uh, even this week against SK, right? Sadly,
Yeah.
Elioya got himself stuck in the chickens. He wanted to
uh,
get some chickens,
He
and
wanted
then
fried
he's
chicken is always great. Okay.
he got some. He
Maybe
wanted to
not
get some
this
fried
time.
chickens, and instead he got. I mean,
Fried.
no, more like he got some burnt chickens because his screen was black.
Okay. Great. But yeah.
His screen was black because I think if he doesn't do that, they win that game. Let's
Yeah. 100%. I think
let's go
they were in
back to
such a good
that, right?
spot.
SK
Look.
had Chemtexol
Yeah.
for ages, and they
I think
could
since minute 30 they had that.
they had three Elder Dragons. Uh, Matt took two of them, right?
Yeah.
And even without the Elder Drake, Matt was winning fights, and they were behind gold. I
And I
mean,
think I think really showcasing like
like
your
it's
point
like
that you're saying, the comeback ways of Matt are so good to find those instances to be able to come back into games, like showing that they do have it in them to keep up that even without the humanoid and Corsi core. And funnily enough, yes, Yoya ends up kind of costing the game when he dies in the birds, but 5 or 10 minutes earlier he made a pretty much a game winning play with a 5-man
yes.
ulti.
I mean,
So so it's really
yeah, but
unfortunate.
I think after that fight, Mad was in the driver's seat regardless of who had
Yeah,
Chemtech Soul. Like at that point, I thought,
100%.
wait, Chemtech Soul doesn't matter anymore. Mad's just styling right now. But
Yeah,
the thing is, because of that mistake, because I think if Elioya never makes that mistake, Mad just outright win, and you have nothing else to say about like there's no dispute that Mad was
it's a 3
clearly
start.
better than everyone at this point, except
It's
Fnatic,
a
of
3
course.
start essentially.
Yeah, it's a trio start, and no one would expected this because two rookies.
Yeah,
And I think what I find most impressive of these rookies, Unforgiven has only died I think once in 3 games.
yeah. I think the SK game was the one where he died,
Yeah,
if I'm not
he
wrong.
was 10. He was 10-1 something.
He almost didn't die in that game even. Like he was close to not even dying once in that game either. A game that he was losing,
Oh
or
no,
that they
Unforgiven
were
died twice
about to
because
lose.
he died in today's game as well. Once.
Okay, okay. But yeah, like the fact that he was able to keep himself alive for so long in a game that they were close to
I
losing, well,
I
that they
will say
lost,
this
but they
about
were
Unforgiven,
so
right?
bad.
I will say
That
this about
was
Unforgiven because today Kaiser gave his post-game interview, right? And he said about how Unforgiven was always a strong side bot laner, as based on what like he definitely knew that. Of course, he's a teammate. I knew that as well
okay.
because based on doing my research, that Unforgiven was a strong side bot laner. And Kaiser was saying that when Unforgiven comes back, like Unforgiven's coming back, right? Coming into this team, they basically told Unforgiven that you have to learn how to play how to play,
Yeah,
safe side, because Kaiser likes to roam a lot. He basically said it like he likes to roam a lot, and so
yeah,
so and then they worked on it a lot in scrims and such, right? I will say this on these 3 games, right? Practically, Kaiser was almost never in lane, right? But there
yeah.
were
He had to pretty
points,
much fend for
but
himself.
there were points, especially game two, when Unforgiven with Jin was 30 CS ahead, 1v2.
Yeah,
I I and he was a relative unknown. No one knew what he was. But to come to the LG stage and to basically outlane your opponent ADCs by yourself is
Yeah, and against which
ludicrous.
opponents, right?
Huh?
Against which opponents? Because it's not like he has had easy
Karzi
opponents.
Labrov. He was playing Karthus. Bear in mind, he was playing Karthus. They couldn't do much to him,
Yeah,
right? Second
but it's still like
second game, it was
it's
Treats
good
Jezu,
teams.
which is not a bad bot lane at all. And he was playing Jin.
Yeah,
And then today he was playing Jinx, and he was turbo. He was turbo given gold. Like basically, he went everywhere and took plates. But even then, they couldn't outlane them. Right?
yeah,
Targamas and Flacket couldn't outlane him. He was ahead in CS every single time.
yeah.
And
He's doing such a good job as a new AD carry, as a rookie AD carry against good opponents in bot lane. So
yeah,
really doing a really nice job to showcase that the trade between him and Carsey, or changing Carsey for him, was not a bad choice by Mad Lions.
yeah. And at the same time, with Reeker doesn't have to do much. Reeker doesn't have to be the main
Yeah,
carry. What Reeker has to do is to play how they want him to play. His Corki was not the best Corki, but it was a
but it was
winning
serviceable.
Corki.
Yep.
He played exactly how you should play Corki to win the game, and that's what he did. And like,
I feel like with Ricker, like he came in a moment where he can be a serviceable mid laner because of how of what champions are currently so valuable in the meta. Like
uh,
if they were in need of a carry mid laner or a flashy mid laner, then I think that maybe Matt needs to think about playing with Ricker another way. But because it's Corky,
I mean,
Victor,
how
and
much more carry
Oriana
can you
Syndra,
get when
like
you
it's
play Yasuo twice?
no,
How
I mean,
much
I
more
mean,
carry
like
can you
Yasuo is
get?
not a problem, but I mean, I don't, I'm not saying that it's that he cannot play that, but I think that for Matt, in the sense that Riker doesn't need to do much because they're in a meta where mid laners that dominate the meta are the Corkis and the Victors. Like he can play Yasuo, he has shown it, but they are perfectly in a spot in the meta where your mid laner doesn't need to do much to be a factor, and I think that Riker can play into that
Yeah,
really well with whatever Mad Lions want to achieve.
yeah. And I feel
So
like
it's pretty convenient.
Reeker is probably like when Max said about these two players, he mentioned the one way to describe them versatility. Because they've clearly shown they can play anything at this point. Because Reeker's most played was Silas, Galio, stuff like that, right? In
Yeah.
LEC, he's played Yasuo and Corki. They can't be any more different. Like they can't be any
Yeah,
more.
there's quite a difference between that
They
and
can't be any more
Galio.
different than Galio and Silas. So I mean, given these players and then Unforgiven, first game playing Karthus.
Carthus in the bot
Karthus
lane.
bot lane. What do you expect? Like Karthus, and then he played Jin, and then he played Jinx. So these players have enough in their repertoire to be versatile, and at the same
Yeah.
time play around Karzi. Not Karzi.
Wait,
Elyoya.
Armor? Oh,
Elyoya.
yeah, yeah, okay.
Because Elyoya is clearly the voice on this team. And
Yeah, I think that taking from the mantle of Carsi and Humanoid, he's been the one that is calling now. I feel like, and it shows when they are aggressive. I think that Elyoya is the one at the forefront, ready to go for it.
one thing that has been very apparent though with this map, the early game is much better. I've not seen them having a better early game before,
Yeah, I think
like
that
this.
it's improved quite a lot, and I think it makes sense a lot, especially if you're because most of the time when junglers want to achieve something and they are stopped by other voices,
Yeah,
early games kind of get a little messy, pretty
yeah,
much, because the early games are tend to be dictated by what the jungler wants. So the fact that now Yuya has full say and full freedom of whatever happens in the early game because of the impact that he wants to create makes it much more simpler for him to go for calls in the early game, get advantages, and the rest of the team following up.
yes, because that voice I think is really helping. I think Armored chips in probably because
Yeah,
Armored, based on previous voice comms, he is fairly vocal, so I believe he does chip in, and he's playing well according to the team. Like he's playing with the team now. It's like he feels like a better player himself. He's gotten better as well. Like it feels like, they're all getting better. They're all, chipping in. It's coming
Yeah,
together, and you can only expect this team to get better.
yeah, like they seem unshackled since they don't have someone else kind of calling behind their backs. Like the fact that Humanoid and Carsey are no longer there to instruct makes them have to do it themselves.
Yeah,
And I feel like it has opened another window of opportunity for them to improve and look for different ways to
yeah,
play around themselves. So I think that it certainly helped to make them improve and be a more versatile team
yeah.
even.
Credit to the coaching staff though.
Yeah, no, like
They
I like
somehow
I
they
started
somehow
with
find these
this.
players.
Yeah, I started with this, and I think that it just becomes now that they like whatever decision Matt decides to do from now on with their coaching staff. Like I feel like it's going unquestionable
Yeah,
because they have shown time and time again that they know what they want, they know what they want to do, and they can do it.
yeah. Lastly, let's talk about Rogue and G2, right? And Rogue will not take long
Do
because
we
I
have
feel
to?
no, because I think Rogue had the easiest schedule, right? Rogue had the easiest
It's
schedule in my
Astralis
opinion.
Escape Misfits, right?
It was Rogue was
Yeah,
SK,
Escape Misfits Astralis.
yeah. So I feel
So
like Astralis, Misfits, new jungler, you know, here it is not playing really well yet. Here it's having like, though I will say here it go down 1-4 and still having a bounty is kind of suspect.
I saw that yesterday in another game. I don't remember which one with a Corki as well. So I'm kind of questioning the bounties in the game right
I mean, I
now.
mean, I mean,
But yeah,
yeah, that's kind of suspect. But Rogue, they had a pretty easy schedule. It was expected to go 3-0. I would expect it 2-1. Like 2-1, I think was
yeah,
very doable. But 3-0. I mean, I didn't vote for Rogue for anything because I didn't know what to
yeah.
expect
I
out of
think we
Rogue.
both have them at 03.
Yeah, we both had them out 3. Didn't work, by the way. Kind of failed.
Yeah,
But we should have expected that they would win at least one or two games because
yeah. It was
Astralis is
really
Astralis is pretty messy right now. Like I don't think they have a clear idea of how they want to play yet, and with
Misfits is on and off,
Misfits is
so
on
it's
and
kind
off.
of
Yeah,
hard to
so
call them.
yeah,
And
I
SK, I think
I
that
think
they
SK the
still
first
need
game they
some
were pretty
time.
bad. I think they were pretty bad
Yeah,
the first game. I think the
I think
first
that
game they
against
have
Mad
no
and
idea.
against Fnatic they improved, but
Yeah,
they were against Fnatic in the last game. So
I
it
mean
was hard for them
again
in that regard.
SK won against Mad because Mad made that one mistake that
Yeah,
cost
it
them
could
the
have been an
game.
0-3 week for SK in all honesty.
Yeah, and then Fnatic basically didn't make that mistake and just basically said, "Yeah, we're better than you."
We
So
won.
yeah, I
We
feel
win now.
yeah. G2,
It's over.
I think I like how G2's playing, Caps is playing well, Yankos is playing well, but there's only one problem I have: their drafts. What are you doing with top lane?
Yeah.
Like what
They
is
are they are
this?
throwing they are throwing things and see if they can flex and make
Honestly,
it
I'll
work
say
out.
this.
Like I think honestly the Corki wasn't that bad. I think the Corki was a kind of a good idea because of package. I think that Corki can
Maybe,
work in top lane.
maybe,
But
but
apart from that,
I mean,
maybe even action.
today, today action. I think action is very good if you can snowball, right? If you
Yeah.
can't snowball, he's dead. Like he has no
Yeah.
value. He has no value
Yeah.
because if you don't snowball against an Ornn, all Ornn will do is get more tankier and you can't kill him.
Yep.
And
Essentially.
all Jarvan will do is get tankier and you can't kill him. And
Yep.
all Thresh will do is get tankier and you can't kill him. And then basically then you have to deal with Corki and Jinx, which will ultimately deal more damage than you do.
Yeah, like I like the idea of throwing flexes here and there, but the problem is the ways that they are doing it, right? Like they are throwing it against champions that they shouldn't, and
Yeah.
against team compositions that it probably won't work. So
And then
so
the
it just feels random.
biggest thing, G2 didn't have a single front line,
Yeah.
which is basically death knell at this point.
Yeah, I just feel so like I can feel the idea of them wanting to try out as much as they want because I think their team is one of the teams that does have that flexibility potential
Yeah,
because Broken Blade is willing to play anything.
yeah,
But like at this point, it's not that bad. At the start of the season is where you can try these things
Yeah,
out. I'm worried if it becomes something recurrent that we may see into the final weeks of the season or into the first weeks of playoffs, and they end up losing because of some randomness like this.
yeah. So
That's kind of my worry with G2.
now, since we're done with that, now we'll get into this
Woo.
latest segment I've made up,
Woo.
and I call this segment, "Is this an exaggeration?" So basically, uh,
Our newest segment.
yeah, our newest segment. There, viewers who are watching, you guys can. I'll be putting up, a bit of a graphic that'll be just underneath, where our cams are. Basically, you can see it. It'll be a bit small, sadly, because I had very short time to work with it because sadly Miles wasn't here, so I had to work
Reminder,
on.
we're
I had to work
scuffed,
on
so we
recording
have
and
to
all that.
work hard.
No, I,
Yeah,
I I had to do all of this in like one day as well. Like not the segment, basically uh,
the production.
the production and all. So I had to do it in one day. I had no idea that Miles was gonna be this sick, so I couldn't
It caught
actually
us all by
do it.
surprise.
I couldn't do it the best I could. But this will do for now, for today at least. So the new segment is this an exaggeration? So basically, I'll put out statements. We'll discuss and we'll decide whether this is an exaggeration or not. Right? So
Woo.
we have six, two from each of the three leagues because that's the only three I watched. Because guys, no one really cares about lock-in because a lot of them are academy. Right? This year, Core
They're
GG is not
playing.
playing.
Yeah,
TSM as an academy team. I mean, who cares?
Sinan
So
doesn't even have his coach here.
yeah, Sinner doesn't coach here yet. Yeah. So okay, let's start with: is this an exaggeration? Cue the music, TDS, or some music.
Uh,
Beep boop.
yes,
Anyways,
that. Yeah.
so is this an
Uh,
exaggeration, right? I don't think you can see it, TDS, sadly, because oof.
I can't.
Uh, so
Sad.
basically, say this. Okay, is this an exaggeration? This is the first statement, right? RA is a playoff lock.
Ari, what?
RA is a playoff lock, so that means they're locked for playoffs.
Oh,
Is this an
oh,
exaggeration?
oh.
At this
I
moment,
think it is. I think it is.
ooh. Okay, go on.
Why I think it is because even though RA has shown good things, like there's so many good teams above them in the idea of it that I think that it's just not going to be enough for them. Like I was saying, there was going to be a tough battle for the 10th and ninth spot, but even, I just feel like even 10th is going to be hard to get.
Yeah.
Like the spots are going to be much more closed out, and I feel like RA are just going to miss out. Even though I think that they are playing well,
I don't think it's a
it's going to be
total
hard for them.
exaggeration, but at this point, it is an exaggeration. But I made it, but it's a good conversation because RA is clearly playing out of their minds, and it's a matter of whether they can continue it, right? Because
Yeah.
who knows, right? Okay, that was first. Second statement: is this an exaggeration? WE is doomed.
Uh, Maybe. Like I yeah, I think they are.
Oh,
I think they are really playing not up to par.
well, we're overreacting that now, guys. But yeah,
Yeah,
uh, I don't know if they're doomed because as I said earlier, in the episode, like WE played Weabo and V5, two of potentially top
yeah,
six teams. So I feel they're not entirely doomed, but it's the definition of doomed, right? If they
yeah. The definition of them is that
I-
they are bad
they're
for
bad,
me.
but I don't think they'll be bad. I think they might miss the playoffs just by a bit, like by a game or something.
I think they don't. I think they miss playoffs not by a large margin, but I don't think they make even 11 or 12. I think
Oh
that they are below
God.
that. Yeah, I
Well,
think that they are below that.
well, there you go. W is doomed, guys. Miles will be very sad. I mean, I'm a bit of a W fan, but yeah, this kind of weird. Also, please play Beishang. Probably you don't lose these games.
Yeah,
But
that like
View played
if
really well.
Beishan is in,
View
if
played really
Beishan is
well.
in,
But
I can kind of
I think
make
View
it see.
played really well, so I don't think it's a jungle issue for them.
Yeah.
Okay. Statement 3. Is this an exaggeration? DRX was overhyped or is overhyped.
No, I don't think they were overhyped, and I think they deserve to be seen as a top 6 team 100% because
Yeah.
they have players that should be considered that.
Yeah.
Like they are playing really bad,
Yeah.
but I'm still expecting them just based on the caliber of the players that if
Yeah.
they get their things together, they should be up there.
Yeah. I don't think they're overhyped as well, but I feel like this is trending into a situation that if they don't turn it around in about 2 weeks, we might not see them in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Like
that
it's
that is something true.
yeah, they're you know they're kind of walking the plank at the moment. One wrong step, they fall into the belly of a shark at this
Yeah,
point.
one
So
wrong step, it can be worse. But yeah,
yeah, statement number 4: Freded Brion is a playoff team. Is this an exaggeration? I
that is
think they
hard.
are. I think they are.
I think they. Yeah, I'm going to take it. I think they are. I think they will be a playoff team,
You
and
know,
I'm even
this has
willing to
come to a
say who they are
situation.
going to kick out.
I put them at bottom at the start of the split. I've completely changed my mind now. After seeing them for 1 week, I've completely changed my mind because this team is far and away playing one of the most cohesive um, League of Legends I've seen from the LCK. They're playing very cohesive and right out of the bat. It's not like they made any
Yeah.
changes. They didn't make any changes, but they just right off the bat they're like, yeah, this, we got this.
Yeah, like it's the idea that they are playing with certainly showing that they want that they were going to prove and that they are going to be much more closer to the playoffs area that we pretty much gave them credit for.
Yeah.
So it certainly feels like I feel like they will be there, and I think they are going to keep the freaks out. I think that it's going to be the freaks that miss playoffs.
Ooh.
I'm going to call it out now.
No, I think Africa will make it, but I think the 5 teams will be the top 3 as usual. Genji, DK, T1.
Yeah,
Then it'll be DRX, Africa, and then it'll be Brion. Because I think
Mr.
Brion
Bro.
is I think Bro
Oh,
is
you
a
think they kicked NS out?
yeah,
Nongxin.
yeah. Because
Ooh, nice.
I at this point I think Brion has like they have the mechanics down, they have the style down. It's just improving, and I feel like
It's
they've
just
got
plain.
no, and they've gotten a very good idea of the meta at the moment.
Okay, okay. I
Okay,
like that.
statement number 5: Is this an exaggeration? Vitality proves most super teams don't work.
I think it's an over exaggeration because we have yet to see if they will implode or not.
Yeah,
Like first week 03 is bad, but it's first week,
yeah.
so we still need some time
I think
to
it,
finally call
I
it
think it's
a
I
bad
think
thing.
it's a slight I think it's a slight exaggeration because it's a slight exaggeration. It's not like
Yeah,
a total exaggeration because I feel they've they've lost to 2 of the potential playoff top 4 teams, potential top 4
yeah,
teams that we'd have in our mind. They got
yeah.
shellacked by Mad, and then they've played Fnatic,
A
and
good game
Fnatic
against
pretty much,
Fnatic.
and Fnatic outclassed them at the end. They
Yep.
just outclassed them. It's like,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's, but the loss against Excel doesn't do them any favors.
Yep. I think that
Okay,
like they we still need to see more things to be sure that they improve. Like I think week 2 and 3 are going to be the true
yeah,
tests.
okay. Last one, right? Last but not the least, or maybe the least. Statement 6: Is this an exaggeration? Mad Lions is the second best team in the LEC right now.
No,
Right
I
now,
think they are.
huh?
I think they are.
I think they absolutely are. Like
I think they are.
I
Yeah, Fnatic is the first, but Mad Lions, I feel like even with that game they lost, like we talked about this,
they
it was one bird away from being a game one
I think they're very
against
similar to
Soul
Brion.
and Elder.
I think they're
Yeah,
very similar to Brion, right?
but
Because
I think they're better players.
no, oh, absolutely. They're similar
Yeah,
to Brion because they
better
got the
players,
style
but
down.
similar.
They know how to play this
Yeah,
game. They know their focus is early game because the early game has gone clearly like significantly better than what we've seen in the past because Elioya's got the reins now. uh, Elias got the hammer and it's
Yeah.
working, and all of a sudden they're translating it into situations where they get clear win conditions. Even the second game, which they had no business winning because
Yeah.
SK got the first,
They were so
SK
close.
got the soul in the first four drakes, Chemtex, and on that it's Chemtex soul, and Mad was still scratching and clawing back into the game, got to even gold, and all of a sudden, Elioya kinda
It
goes over
happens. It
aggressive
happens.
on
It happens.
chicken.
Okay.
On a
Yeah,
chicken.
it happens.
I love my
It
chicken,
happens.
but yeah, a chicken.
But
Everyone
not
loves
this.
chickens.
Not at that time.
Yeah.
Not at that time. But I think that they are certainly the second. Like the fact that they were so close to turning it around really showcased a good team dynamic and a good idea behind the team to want to follow those plays, and they are not scared of going for plays,
Absolutely
which is
not.
another great thing out of that team. So
Yeah.
I feel like they try to correct some of the things that certainly they are missing, and more experience for Unforgiven and for Reeker are going to be great in making this team even better and better the longer they go on.
Yeah. Okay. That's the end of the segment for now, because I mean, there's not much we can speak of other than that. Okay. So let's
Yeah,
get into predictions, right? So I will say this: I lost the prediction battle because I was horrible. You
winner.
did you win? Well, I'll have to see.
I won everyone. Like I am watching the numbers and I have in everyone either I tied with Miles or I won.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. Gotta be like that. That's sad. I suck. Yes, guys. Well, I did go in blind, and I had my biases too.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't expect Rogue to win a single game, but hey ho, right? Uh, okay, I'll put this over there. Let's start with the LPL, right? So, okay. Um, just a second.
To decide.
Okay, let's talk about um, let's talk about that. Yeah, you got the you got everything in order, TDS?
I think uh I need to leave.
Huh?
I think I need to leave right now, so I'm not sure if I can finish this part.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I kind of got mixed up with the schedule thing, so I think I may need to go now.
Oh boy. We're in a situation now, guys.
Yeah, this is a mistake on my part. Sorry, I forgot. I got a time mixed up, so I think
Oh.
I may need right now. I may need to leave right now.
Oh boy. Well, guys, I guess that'll be another episode then, because sadly TDS has to leave and I can't do the
Yeah,
podcast alone. I am
yeah. It was complications here. Sorry for that.
well. We'll probably catch up on predictions again uh, next week. So until then, guys.
Hopefully with me being better at managing my time and Miles back.
Yeah, and well, we'll have a better time next week because we won't have a super week to deal with. So
Yeah.
yeah. So again, guys, thanks for watching. This was another episode of the Plebcast without Miles, and that's that. See you guys.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.